please welcome Stephanie Hartung, Senior Staff Attorney at New England Innocence Project.
Hi, everyone. I'm Stephanie Hartung. I'm so pleased to be facilitating this community conversation tonight. It has been such an amazing evening already, and we're excited to have all these folks on stage to hear a bit more from them. I'm going to ask some questions, and then if anyone from the audience has questions that they want to submit in writing, please do that too, and we'll be happy to continue the conversation. So tonight's event is called Voices of the Innocent. And each of you in your capacity, either as someone wrongly convicted yourself, supporting someone who's been wrongly convicted, or writing about wrongful convictions, have found a way to use your voice to elevate these issues. Can each of you talk a little bit about what has motivated you to do that?
Motivated us to what?
To use your voice to speak out about wrongful convictions.
It's what we owe. We've spent a lot of time in prison with a lot of people who are in our situations, and we've had those conversations on a regular basis. And always when someone is heading for the gate, someone that is responsible, there are others that will root for them and ask them to remember. And like I said, it's what we owe, so that's what we do.
For me, it's just knowing that the time for justice is always now. And we have to do this now, and we can't continue to idly stand by in silence while our loved ones are being shipped out and never returning. It's just not right, and so it's always the time is now.
And I agree.
Absolutely.
Everyone deserves justice.
Mm-hmm. I agree. What you, Andrew?
As a journalist, I think truth is a huge motivator. And for a wrongful conviction, truth is the core of it, right? And so there's nothing that can motivate you to push harder than to get at that real truth, especially a truth that's been buried for decades.
So for many people in the audience here, I think there are so many aspects to the criminal legal system that are just widely not understood. Is there anything that you would want to share in your experience that has surprised you about the criminal system and how it operates?
That has surprised us?
Do we have enough time?
I'm at the stage where there's little or nothing that surprises me anymore, having taken the journey that I've taken. But one of the things that people should understand about the system is that the bottom line is their thing. And they really don't care how they get to it. That's their focus, their aim is to get to it. The policies are designed for job security. Therefore, a lot of policies are designed to break up families and all the rest of that, to discourage supporters and like that. Even attorneys get hard times coming in and having to work with their clients. They have to navigate through the madness as well, because the system in general, and the DOC in particular, is an island unto itself with little or no oversight. And so when we do our due diligence and research the laws and like that, and threaten civil action for the conditions that we're in, we have to deal with stuff like, well, make sure you spell my name right, and that kind of, because they know that they're not going to be subjected to much. At best, maybe a slap on the wrist. I kind of liken it to cops being, what do they call that, on leave with pay for doing something wrong. It's like, really? That's a vacation, in case anybody didn't know.
Yeah, both you and Nancy both talked in different ways about the kind of denial of your humanity while you were incarcerated. I don't know, Nancy, if there's more you wanted to say about that or other aspects of the criminal system that you feel people don't understand.
Well, first, I always thought if you were really innocent, you would never get convicted of a crime. And that's just not the case. And being in prison, they treat you unhuman in certain situations where you didn't deserve it. So.
Yeah. Yesenia?
What surprised me the most on this journey with my father to his freedom is the amount of people that actually believe, the amount of people that put in this legwork before we got to this point pro bono, just not being paid, just the most expensive thing is time, and people so selfishly gave of their time to create this. That's powerful, you know, and growing up, this wasn't it. Society always felt like once you're in jail, that's it, you're written off. Like, you did it and that's it. Do your time, you deserve to be there. So to come in contact with a community of people who know that that's not the case and are complete strangers but are so vigilant in this fight with you, that amazed me.
Yeah. How about you, Andrew? Anything you've learned about the system in your reporting?
So I think for me, probably when most people think of wrongful convictions that get overturned, they think of DNA. And I think that, you know, obviously DNA is a really powerful tool. But what I've been so surprised about is all the cases where it just comes down to paper, that it's just paper sitting in a file. And it could be in a prosecutor's file, it could be in a detective's file, but it's just paper that's been sitting there as long as that person's been incarcerated. And that could be about, you know, a witness that wasn't thoroughly checked out, or, you know, a lead that wasn't run down, something that was forgotten or buried or worse. But it's just amazing to me always how much comes out when just paper's unearthed. And it just seems like it shouldn't be that hard. If there's paper sitting in a file, that there should be access to that.
Yep, and that played a role, I know, in several of your cases who are up here on the stage, and just, you know, access to the basic information about cases and the basic discovery can be half the battle. So the theme of tonight's program is Against All Odds, and I'll start with the storytellers for tonight. You know, each of you have been through unimaginable struggles and challenges to get through what you have. And I wonder if you could talk about, you know, what you've drawn upon to get through it.
I've been asked that question a lot, and my answer is generally the same. I tend to liken it to fatherhood. To fatherhood. I don't get to give up on my babies. You know, I got to be a father every day, and it's the same with the struggle. It's the same with the fight for freedom. It's the same with navigating our way through the madness that is prison. You don't have a choice. I don't get to take a day off from being a father. I don't get to take a day off from the struggle. You see, it's an all day, everyday thing. And after a while, it becomes part of your DNA.
I agree with him.
For me, it was always my faith. I'm a God-fearing woman. He's the leader of my life. And I know that with him first, anything is possible. And, you know, people always ask me, I was that 12-year-old sitting on that bench. How did you get from there to here? You know, I was in one of the neighborhoods that was high crime rate, gunshots, people dying all around me. I don't have really any childhood friends who made it to this point in my life because they're all buried and dead. So to even get to this point, it was all on my faith.
And for you, Andrew, a little different perspective, but we've talked about tonight how much, you know, kind of bravery it takes to report on the criminal system and what gets exposed and some of the pushback that you get in reporting in that area. So what have you drawn on for strength and inspiration to do that work?
Well, I'm not going to try to compare myself to getting some pushback to the folks I'm sharing the stage with. But I mean, there definitely is, I mean, Boston can be a small town. You hear about it from your neighbors and other people you meet on the street who don't appreciate your coverage or when you write about things. But, I mean, one of the things that I do is I look to what's happening to journalism in other places. And I have a colleague that I'm working with now who was a journalist in Russia. And she had to go into exile to continue doing what she does. So I guess one of the things that I would look to draw on for strength is just knowing that a little bit of pushback here doesn't compare to what others have to face in places where the reception to the press is even more hostile.
Yeah.
And then I also look at people like the folks on this stage and how long they've endured and what they've put up with.
Yes, they're an inspiration to all of us in the different kinds of work we do. Again, for the storytellers first, since your release or since the release of your loved ones, can you talk about what has brought you joy in this stage of your life after going through such a traumatic experience?
Before I do that, I would first like to thank the gentleman for his courage and commitment. You know, I know that sometimes that can be a struggle, so take a bow for that. What has brought me joy is obviously my daughter and grandson, because I have to be a parent and a grandfather from behind the walls, and that was always limited. That was always a challenge. As I said, as a part of my story, I mean, you could actually get locked up for giving your kid a piggyback in a visiting room, and I had taken a position a long time ago that I was never going to obey any rules that said I couldn't show love to my babies. You know, it's like you do what you got to do, and I'm going to do what I have to do, and like that, and we'll go from there. But my joy has been reconnecting with my family and friends and finding the love of my life, who was my fiance.
What he said.
Yeah, what he said. No. It's really the simple things that bring me joy. All the friends I have, my husband. Just being able to walk free and make my own decisions and my own choices.
I didn't have any memories with my father before he went to prison. So what brings me joy is everything. Experiencing every single one of his firsts. You know, teaching him how to use the telephone, watching him cook in that kitchen, watching him fight with my dog, mowing the lawn, walking to the store, taking the bus for the first time. Everything's an adventure, and I enjoy everything.
If I may.
Yes.
I think I would be remiss if we didn't mention the community that is formed under the umbrella of the Exoneration Network, because we have the most in common with each other, and so we have an opportunity to lean on each other and like that, and that gives me joy, because there are a lot of people that don't have that.
Yes.
They don't have anyone to turn to, and we have an entire family, an entire community to turn to and lean on. So that gives me joy as well.
We can see that here tonight. And Andrew, for you, what have been the most rewarding aspects of your work?
I mean, one of the joys of being a reporter is you can get a front row seat sometimes on things. So, I mean, it's to kind of build off of what Jabir mentioned, is that I've gotten to see that community kind of up close and in, moments of joy and pain. And it's been a pretty amazing thing to watch.
Okay, so related to that, we have a question from the audience, which is, what is your favorite thing to do?
In a word, music.
Music, yes. If you haven't gotten to hear Jabir sing yet, you're missing something, so.
My favorite thing to do is to spend time with the family together in a safe environment.
My favorite is Chinese food. And
Andrew?
spending time with my husband.
Sorry?
And spending time with my husband.
Wait a second.
Well, last night I went to Chinese food with my family. Is that it?
Okay, another question from the audience. What is the best way for someone to support an exoneree that has no personal connection aside from money?
Aside from money.
So what is the best way to support, not financial, I think is what the question means.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
For me, it's your time. Again, time is the most valuable thing we can give, and to give that person time. Someone who's been incarcerated for so long, coming home is not an easy thing. And it's just the beginning of a new life, also the beginning of new struggles. They have anxiety, they have PTSD, they, as my dad says, civilians out here, life is always go, 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 go. And so giving of your time, does that individual need to go to the DMV and get their ID? Does that person just need someone to vent to or take a walk in the park? Or if they're in a crowded area like this, are you able to recognize that in this moment they need to step away because they need that? And so time is what you can give.
Time is definitely, when I first got out, I didn't know how to use a cell phone. I was nervous, and just someone helping me out. And driving was a fear of mine, and just someone being there for me and helping me along the way.
If I understood the question, it was supporting people that you don't know,
Yeah,
that you haven't had contact with?
it wasn't specific, but yeah, how would you support an exoneree?
Well, under those circumstances, I would ask people to bang on the desks of their legislators and so forth and so on, and get the support that we need.
So I think we have time for one final question, and for everybody on the panel, either just, what final words do you want to leave this group with in terms of what they can do or what you want them to know or understand about wrongful convictions, or for those who are still fighting, what words do you have for them? Or it could be for both. So anything you want to end with.
There is, I know, there were so many responses to that question.
I know.
I would say to those that are in relationships, for example, to listen to each other and to be patient with each other. I would say to those of us who have formed this community to keep it tight and to keep it 100. Let's not go through the motions and play games. Let's mean what we say and say what we mean, and be about the business that we're supposed to be about. Because support comes in a lot of different forms, and we need all of that.
I would like to say, for those who are still fighting, for those who are fighting for their loved ones, anything is possible. Right. You were giving that vision. People will push off their disbelief onto you. People will shove off their failures onto you. It only takes one. Anything is possible. In a million no's, there's a way because God has the final say.
And to add on to that, miracles do happen, because we're up there today.
And I guess I would just say that I would also look around to your other community members, because you got a lot of examples to follow who have, threaded the needle and made it through.
And on that high note. So can we first have a round of applause for our amazing panelists? And I think this is the end of the formal part of our program, so we just want to thank you all so much for coming tonight. We could not do the work that we do without all of your support, and we're so grateful that you're all here. We also hope we'll see you next year for what will be our 20th anniversary of NEAT becoming a nonprofit. And so that'll be an event to come. Stay tuned in 2024. But thank you all, and stick around for, I think, coffee and dessert and whatever's left. Have a great night, everyone.